A company that did not build its own AI model told TechCrunch it was running at more than $500 million a year. Lovable buys access to models its competitors can buy too. So what exactly are customers paying Lovable for? First, the number needs a qualifier. TechCrunch reported on June 9th, 2026, that Lovable said it had passed a $500 million annualized revenue run rate. That is the company's current pace projected across a year. It is not audited revenue collected during the previous 12 months. Lovable is private, so I could not independently verify the figure. Even with that limitation, the claim is worth examining. Lovable is selling something beyond model access. A user can describe an app, generate the interface, add a database and authentication, publish it, connect a domain, sync the code to GitHub, and invite a team. Customers are paying for the steps between a prompt and a deployed application. In my TypingMind video, I looked at why a simple AI interface could become a real product. Lovable pushes that idea much further. TypingMind reorganized the experience of working with several models. Lovable tries to organize an entire software workflow around them. The company did not begin with that full workflow. In 2023, co-founder Anton Uska released GPT Engineer, an open-source project that generated code from text. It attracted developers, but it still expected people to use a terminal. Lovable's own history says the team then built a commercial web product for non-technical users. The Lovable product launched publicly in November 2024. The revenue story accelerated quickly after that. Lovable said it reached $100 million in ARR in July 2025 and $200 million in November. Then it told TechCrunch that its annualized run rate had passed $500 million in June 2026. These are snapshots reported by the company, not an audited growth curve. What they do show is how aggressively Lovable wants to be measured on speed. The easy explanation is vibe coding. I think that explains the initial attention, but not the whole business. Producing a first draft from a prompt is getting cheaper. Models improve, competing products add similar features, and the result of the first generation is often where the difficult work begins. Lovable has been adding the less spectacular parts. Its documentation covers visual editing, databases, authentication, storage, server functions, hosting, custom domains, and GitHub synchronization. Lovable Cloud also provides infrastructure and AI features for applications after they are deployed. Those additions matter because a generated page has very little commercial value if its owner cannot operate it. The GitHub connection is especially interesting. Lovable says the generated application is standard V and React code, and its documentation describes several ways to host the front-end or back-end elsewhere. The editor and agent remain Lovable services, but the application code is not supposed to be trapped inside them. That makes the retention problem more demanding. If customers can leave, Lovable has to make its managed workflow more convenient than exporting the code and rebuilding the operational stack somewhere else. I think this is a healthier test of the product than lock-in alone. The same logic appears in the enterprise features. Lovable documents identity management, workspace policies, audit logs, security views, and support. Those features are dull in a product demo, but they affect whether an IT department will approve the tool after an enthusiastic employee creates a prototype. The pricing model follows the workflow. Lovable sells workspace plans with credits. In June 2026, the company announced that building usage, Lovable Cloud, and AI used inside deployed applications would move toward one balance. That gives Lovable two potential sources of continuing demand. Customers spend while creating software, and they can keep spending when the resulting application is running. What surprised me was how much of the commercial argument depends on that second period. Prompt credits may capture the excitement of creation. Hosting, AI usage, governance, and support are what could keep revenue attached to an application after the first weekend of building. The current pricing shows that Lovable is aiming for both. It does not yet prove that customers will stay for both. There is an enterprise ladder as well. Business and enterprise plans add governance and support on top of the basic creation experience. A solo builder can start with a prompt. A larger customer needs permissions, identity controls, procurement, and someone to call when the application matters. Lovable is trying to serve both without making the first experience feel like enterprise software. Security is where that expansion becomes difficult. Lovable describes pre-published checks, deeper scans, dependency checks, and workspace controls. Those are company claims about the platform's safeguards, not a guarantee that every generated app is ready for production. The distinction became concrete in April 2026. Lovable disclosed that, between February 3rd and April 20th, chat history and source code in public projects could potentially be accessed by an authenticated Lovable user who had the project link. The company said private projects and Lovable Cloud were not affected, and that it fixed the issue within 2 hours of the public report. I am less convinced by any promise that removes the need for security judgment from the builder. Easier software creation changes who has to catch mistakes. It does not make permissions, secrets, dependencies, and incident response disappear. Some of that responsibility moves from an experienced development team into the platform and into users who may not know which risks to look for. Lovable's own Build Economy survey says 8 in 10 respondents intend to monetize what they create. The survey is useful as a picture of user ambition, but it comes from Lovable's users, and the company says its payments data is still early. Intention is not evidence of durable revenue for those applications. After launch, someone still has to find customers, answer support requests, update dependencies, control costs, and fix the product when the original prompt no longer describes what users need. Lovable can reduce the technical work. It cannot supply product-market fit. My current read is that Lovable's advantage is the number of separate tools and decisions it removes from the route to a working application. Model access is one input. The commercial product includes the editor, deployment path, cloud services, collaboration, governance, and support surrounding that input. For AI founders, that is a more useful test than asking whether an idea is just a wrapper. Look at what remains after the model returns an answer. If the customer still has to assemble 5 other services before the result becomes useful, there may be a business in owning that unfinished workflow. Lovable's reported $500 million run rate is evidence of strong demand at this moment, but it is not the final verdict. The harder measure will be what happens after the prototypes are published. Whether customers keep paying Lovable for deployment, permissions, support, cloud usage, and the work of keeping those applications alive. If that spending persists, Lovable will have built a durable software platform around rented intelligence. If it does not, the run rate will have captured a creation boom rather than a lasting operating business.